name is Sunny, and today we're going to talk about rest. I'll be sharing with you 5 ways that you can incorporate rest into your daily life. We will go over the Cliff Notes version of that. We'll go really quickly through those 5 reasons, and then we'll take a deep dive into how to actually implement that, right? How to make that real in your day-to-day life. So just to jump right into it, let's start with number 1. Number 1 is take a day off. God did it, and so should you, right? We're not any different. We should be incorporating rest. Number 2 is get someone else to do it. Whatever it is, you can get someone else to do it, and that will allow you the latitude to rest. Number 3, say no. Just simply decide that this is not value add, right? It's not something that's valuable for you, and you don't want to do it. Number 4 is reschedule it for a later date. So maybe it's something that you can't simply say no to, but it can be rescheduled. And number 5 is do less of it. So sometimes you can't put things off, but you can actually scale back a little bit and do less of that thing, and that will allow you some form of rest. So thank you so much. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Sunny, and on this channel, I focus on Black women's holistic health and well-being. I really believe that we are doing way too much, and that it's a priority, right? We have to be able to pour into our own cups to be able to pour into someone else's. So I believe that rest, not just for Black women, but specifically for Black women, because I'm a Black woman and I can talk about a Black woman, and I can talk about my own experience. But overall, right, we are just overbooked and overscheduled. And so that's something that I prioritize here on this channel. I encourage you to rest and to find more healthier ways of living. And the way that I do that is sharing my own journey, sharing my own wins and experiences. So let's dive right into it. I do want to tell you to like, share, and subscribe if this is your first time joining me, and to ring that notification bell so that you know the next time that I post a video, go live, or there's some new content out there that you might find useful. So let's dive into it, right? The first thing was take a day off. The first thing that happened in the Bible, right? It starts off in the beginning with a lot of things being done, a lot of production. Day 1 through 6, God created the heavens and the earth and everything therein. But on day 7, he did something that was powerful, and I believe just as powerful as the first 6 days of production. And that is rest and recharge. And a lot of times we are just doing, and don't take the time to recharge our battery. So I think of it as really a battery, right? You can, even when you purchase the rechargeable batteries, you can use that battery and recharge it only so many times. After that, you're going to have to get a new rechargeable battery. So it's important for us to take that time to recharge so we have more energy to give out the next time. If we don't recharge it, we run the risk of things just falling apart. And that's not a state we want to find ourselves in, right? We know that if a battery is at 0, it takes a lot more time for it to rebuild and recharge than if we recharge, say at 75%, even at 40%, right? You look and say, okay, my phone battery is getting a little bit low. I probably need to charge it now so that I don't get to 0 and it cuts off. And that's what I think happens with our bodies. We run it down to 0. Some of us run on fumes, right? Just from the time that we wake up in the morning. I can share for me, that is usually 6:30 in the morning, right? From 6:30 in the morning until probably 8:30, 9:30 at night, I'm scheduled. I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to get my daughter ready for school, get all of her stuff, prep her stuff. And now that I am leading a healthier lifestyle, I can't just grab whatever to eat. I want to make sure that I'm eating the right things, and those things take time to prepare, right? So I need to incorporate that time into my day. But what I also need to do is build some things that incorporate rest practice into it. And one of the ways that I do that with the healthier lifestyle leading or living is by batch meal prepping. So I usually don't just take one day and make all of my meals for the week. For me, that feels like something that's a huge chunk of time that I just have no interest in giving up. So instead of that, when I cook meals, I usually cook a little bit larger of a portion so that I can mix and match throughout the week on what I want to eat, but that I have leftover items, right? And so that gives me rest. I don't always have to cook. I don't always have to be preparing things, but I have times of rest, days of rest where I don't feel like cooking and I am not going to make anything, right? This is going to be a day where everybody's responsible for their own dinner, or I'll already have something prepared. One of the things I used to love, and I don't do it as much now that I need to do more of, is casseroles, like casseroles and stir fries. I used to be the queen of casseroles. And many of you probably, right, do some sort of preparing larger meals for those days that you don't cook. And that's really what that allows you to do, right? Be able to have leftovers for the next day. And some things actually taste better on day 2. So I'd encourage you that if you currently don't practice that, to try it and to not be afraid of taking a day off. And when we talk about day off, I think that, you know, whether or not you schedule, if it works better for you to say, I'm just going to, you know, right, Sunday is going to be my day off. If I go to church, I'm going to go to church, and then there's nothing else that I'm going to do in that day. Or Wednesdays are my day off or my night off. You decide what that scale looks like for you. You don't have to go 100% off. You can say, this is what I want to do in that day, and the rest of the day is off. So you decide what feels good and what's at a good level for you. Number 2 is get someone else to do it so you can rest. And it can be a family member, a friend, or somebody that helps out in some way so that you don't have to do all things, right? You can rest in that moment. And one of the things that, you know, I do in my house is sharing chores. So I used to be, no, I need to do everything because I want to clean my way. I want it my certain way. And people don't learn that way, right? So the kids are never going to learn how to clean well and do things well if you're always doing it for them. They need to learn those life skills. But in addition to that, it doesn't give the people that you love the ability to help to contribute to your rest. A lot of times they see that you're tired and may even have offered and said, baby, do you need me to help out with anything? Or mom, do you need me to help out with anything? But we're so busy going, that we don't allow people the opportunity and the latitude to jump in and help, right? Or I can just knock this out really quick and get it done, right? And get it done the way that I want it to be done. Versus saying, I'm going to allow you the opportunity to help me and let me rest. And I think that might be rooted more into like our history, right? History of just those of us who are Black American and really have a history of slavery, of doing and going and not accepting help, right? And generations of being raised by the strong Black women in our lives, your grandmoms, moms that really encourage you to stand on your own 2 feet, which is a great thing, right? To stand on your own 2 feet, be self-sufficient, be able to do things, right? But also it can be harmful when you're not accustomed to accepting help and not willing to accept help. A lot of times the help is there and we just don't have that gate open for the help to come in, or the help doesn't feel like, the last time that they offered help that you received it well. So people will dial back a little bit and actually stop offering to help. I'm going to look at my notes a little bit to make sure that I kind of stay on subject. But number 3 is say no. And you can determine that you no longer find value in doing this thing. It was something that you did before, and maybe people were accustomed to you doing it. You did it great. They loved the way that you did it, but you no longer want to do it anymore. You no longer find value in doing it anymore, or it's become too cumbersome for you to do, right? So be just aware that you can say no to things, even if it's something that you've said yes to for a long time, or even if it's something that people admire you for, right? That's wonderful. You can admire the memory of how I did this thing and it not detract from me today and my worth today and my value today because I no longer decide to do it. And when you do say no, if you do say no, and that's the route that you want to incorporate into giving yourself some rest, the way that you say no is important. You want to make sure that you're not saying no in a derogatory or a hurtful way, right? We can be honest and truthful to ourselves and respectful to ourselves, and also be respectful to others in the way that we say it. And just remember that you do not have to give a reason for your no. You can just say no and smile. I do it all the time. All right, so number 4 is reschedule it. Reschedule it. If it's something that you plan to do on Wednesday night, and absolutely I told somebody that I was going to have it done by Wednesday night, assess whether or not it really needs to be done by Wednesday night. Is this something that can be done on Thursday or at a later date? Check in with your body, check in with yourself, check in with your mental state, and determine if you have the energy necessary to do it and do it well. Whether or not this is something that is an emergency for that person, in some kind of way it became an emergency for you, right? But it's really not an emergency. And you can determine if you want to do it at a later date. And now remember that that person, or whatever the situation is, right, can also determine, hey, I don't want to wait for you to do it. I'm just going to get someone else to do it. I'm going to do it myself. So if it's something that's dealing with, your business or a way that you earn money, just be prepared that for you to say no does not automatically require for them to say yes to your reschedule. But I would encourage you to assess those things that you have coming up. And if you can, reschedule it. Most things can wait. And then lastly, do less, right? Do less. And I even jotted down, I said, do less or the bare minimum. And that is a hard one for Black women to do. We don't do the bare minimum, baby. We do it, and we do it well. And it's something that I admire us for. It's a wonderful skill that we have. When we do stuff, it's usually done right. It's done to a level of execution that we can look back and be proud of, have our name on something and say, no, Sean did that, or Tracy did that, or, this person did that, and they did an excellent job with it. And so if you're going to attach your name to something, you usually want to do a great job. But remember that your level of doing stuff and getting things done is not the only way to do it, right? It does not have to be done over and beyond. You can do the thing and have it done and stop there. So I would say do less, and then also consider doing the bare minimum. I wish I had more of an example for you on that. Well, let me give you one. So for instance, let's say that you're planning a dinner, right? And it's your turn to plan the dinner for your group of friends or for your family, or host a dinner. You can host that dinner at your house and cook the things that everybody loves for you to cook, and make your stuff, and have to also do the cleaning, the shopping that comes with cooking, and the prep work, serving everyone, and then the cleanup after you host. Or you can say, hey guys, on Friday night at 6 p.m., we're going to go to this restaurant. Be there and don't be late. Here's the time. Call in and make the reservation. You did less and you did the bare minimum, right? We got a place to go, and it's up to you if you want to cover that entire check. Now, that's up to you. If you got it, you got it. You do your thing. If not, people can purchase their own stuff, right? So that's another way for you to not only do less in terms of time, but do less in terms of financially how much you do. Because a lot of times those things are tied together. If we're doing a lot and going over and above and beyond, a lot of times we're spending more of our resources on it than we actually need to as well. And so that can be a way for you to not only give time back to yourself in the form of rest, but put a few coins away as well in your savings. So those are my 5 ways to incorporate rest into your everyday life. If this information was helpful to you or was something that you can incorporate throughout your week, I encourage you to like, comment, or subscribe. Or you can do all 3, right? I appreciate that. But that allows YouTube to know that some of this information was helpful to you. It may be helpful to other Black women or people like you. So please make sure that you turn on that notification bell so that you can get notified anytime I go live, post new videos or content, and we can talk about these things again together. Thank you so much. As always, this is Sunny signing off. Thank you so much for joining me on my journey, but more importantly, I appreciate you taking the steps to live your life. Have a great day. Till next time. Later, love.